Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's True Life News Show, guys. Trump and Elon just got a big win across the board. This is what you want to see. This is now the DOJ is fighting with them over these 160 lawsuits that have been targeted towards Trump and Elon by all these rogue judges. Well, guess what? What we now know, and I love getting to tell you this, guys, is that Trump is moving forward with the biggest fight ever. Investigations have started into each of these activist judges coming from the DOJ as to the bias that they have with all the injunctions towards Trump. And now we have evidence that especially Supreme Court Justice Roberts has secret ties to a lot of these judges. We now know that Trump is in talks with the DOJ over all the evidence that has been found, and we could see a new Supreme Court Chief Justice replace John Roberts because he is actively tied to these rogue judges in a way where it is very biased and one-sided towards Trump. And with the evidence that they have, they say that there's no way he can completely hold his position and vote without bias as a Supreme Court judge. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys, because again, they knew this was coming. They were prepared, and now what they're doing is shining the spotlight on every single one of these people that is trying to target Trump in a negative way, and they're showing everybody across the board they're the ones that are dark. They're the ones that have been corrupt in the system, trying to control it for their own benefit, and it's beautiful. Because guess what else? Elon Musk and Nancy Pelosi are literally about to have a showdown. And this is getting so real, guys. We've been saying it for the past year. Right now, the DOJ is working with Elon to investigate Pelosi's massive wealth. Remember, Elon said he would do it. That it's strange that these people who never make more than $200,000 a year, but are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, despite not owning any companies or developing any products in the marketplace, all they have is stocks. And how are they worth hundreds of millions of dollars despite only making $200,000 a year? Well, the time has come and justice is about to be served, and I'm ready for this, guys, because we've been calling this for a long time. They've been everybody knows it. Almost all politicians have said, oh, there's insider trading in the government. Oh, they do it all the time. This should be banned. Why isn't it banned? Because they're using it themselves, guys, to make all this money, making money off making the laws off us, because they're in these certain positions. The Trump came out and said that they're planning to fire up to 25% of the IRS staff, specifically its civil rights office. And many top Democrats, get this, guys, don't you just love it when all the truth is starting to come out? Many top Democrats just admitted that the only reason they supported Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election was because she wasn't Trump, which tells you that it doesn't matter what puppet the Democrats put into place. As long as they're not the other person, that's who they're going to support, which is completely against the American way. We want the best person for the job, not some people, elitists behind the scenes, trying to control everybody and putting who they want in place instead of we, the people, actually voting for our elected officials. Guys, we got a ton of breaking news. I love it. Trump is not playing around, and this is so great to be able to report to you today. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Guys, thank you so much for your support, and if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our True Life News family here. Guys, we want you here. We want to serve you with the top news every single day. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. Guys, y'all are the best for your continued support and helping us to give back to charity every single month. Remember, on the 22nd, we're going to be giving back to the charity New Beginnings, guys, and I'm super excited about that. as well as want to say give some love to those that have already given some super chats. Want to give some love to Sue McCormiss. Thank you so much for your super chat, and as well as Lay Lewis for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show them some love in the chat, and if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, we really appreciate your support, and we love to see your comments. So please let us know on these topics how you feel, because this is going crazy, and we love the dialogue. Check this out.
Trump's at the peak of just not giving an F anymore. Bad news stories, doesn't give an F. This is what his team's saying. He's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to do what he promised to do on the campaign trail. The mood in the White House is confidence. The White House says 47's never felt more confident and happy than in pushing tariffs. It's his lifelong aspiration.
What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of
Oh, sorry, guys.
our companies. And, hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country.
Behind the scenes, the president's been pounding the fact that the world's been ripping us off for 40 years. And he's on a mission to right those wrongs before the end of his term. The vision? Turn the country into a place with thriving main streets and hometowns, where American workers make American products sold to the American public. Doesn't that give you a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling inside? And he wants to make it easier for people to start families, afford homes, and go to college. These tariffs are for the children. The great American president did the same thing just over 100 years ago. The British were dumping cheap manufactured goods into the country, kneecapping industry, and driving down wages. McKinley believed if you didn't have tariffs, the British industry would drown you. Today, it's not just the British. The world's drowning us.
Yes.
The president's mentality is, if you want access to the greatest market in the world, the American market, you're going to have to pay up. Kind of like a real estate fee. And thinks we're suckers not to be charging people. But Wall Street thinks they're the suckers.
I feel like a sucker tonight because I am not a free trader, and I do not believe in free trade. And I was just as tough, if not tougher, than his people, but they screwed it up. I was very let down as someone who really, truly believes that free trade is awful for the American working person. This is what they came up with. Jeez, come on, have some gumption, have some math.
Kramer feels like a sucker. Now he knows how his audience feels. He said buy Bear Stearns, and the next week it went bankrupt. The Dow's actually in the same place it was in August, so have a drink. Maybe 4.
Guys, let me tell you this. What you're seeing now is, again, it's controlled opposition. You want to know how controlled, especially with that guy Jim Cramer, how things are when it comes to our society, guys? Look at this right here. There is 1,200 anti-protests going up all across the United States right now, today, trying to say hands off Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, our jobs, our wallets, our bodies, fair elections. Everything in all these elections we already just found out are all paid for. The protesters are paid for by big billionaires that are anti-Trump, and what this is showing us is that it doesn't matter. The left-wing media is going to follow it, but this is how it is. It's controlled from the other side. They want to make sure that you keep seeing the lies because they know that common sense is winning out because Trump is doing what nobody has done before, which is America first.
Maybe 5. Trump's not nervous. The president feels like a real estate mogul with a full inventory of mansions under his sole control. It's been 48 hours since Liberation Day, and the phones at the White House won't stop ringing. Vietnam called today. They tariff our product at a rate of 90%. You can't even find an American-made product in Vietnam unless it's an old landmine. Nam says they're ready to drop their tariffs from 90 to 0.
Let's go.
58,000 Americans died there. We should be able to sell them Chevys. Argentina wants to go down to 0% too. Their president, he's the guy that gave Elon the chainsaw. He says friends will be friends. India's cutting a trade agreement in the coming days. That's over 1 billion customers our companies will get access to. South Korea is going all out to get a good deal. And South Korea knows a thing or two about tariffs. You can't get into that market. And they're an Asian powerhouse. The Europeans are coming to the table. They're willing to drop their automobile tariffs from 10% to 2.5%. And they're promising to buy American energy and weaponry. Japan's tried everything. They've said President Trump will buy more natural gas, more armaments. They said SoftBank's investing $500 billion in America, and Trump said no. Keep going. What else?
What else?
47 means business. And the last one to negotiate loses. China, in a big huff, retaliated and jacked up tariffs on us. Trump says, quote, China played it wrong. They panicked. The one thing they cannot afford to do. How many things in China say made in America? And how many things here say made in China? Now do you get it? The White House is holding all the cards. And who are the ones crying? Foreign countries and American multinationals who ship jobs and factories to those same foreign countries.
Guys, if you appreciate us having a president who is actually standing up for us, not just letting every single country screw us over, show your support, hit that thumbs up like button, because this is the time. Guys, this is history in the making right now. I am so excited because what I'm about to show you next, it's all starting to show the wins. They tried to, in the first 2 days, they tried to tear it all down, but guess what? Trump said, I'm sticking to my backbone, and we're gonna make this happen.
Nobody was crying these crocodile tears when they were closing the Mound Road engine plant that Chrysler had in Macomb County, or the Romeo engine plant in Romeo, Michigan in Macomb County. But all of a sudden, now that we're trying to bring these products back, these components and these vehicles back to the United States, all of a sudden, all the so-called experts are saying it's going to plunge us into recession and be terrible for the economy. Yeah. So thank God. If they're crying, I think we're doing something right.
Let's go.
Chrysler, Jeep, and Ford aren't going to raise car prices, they said. They're actually going to give American buyers a discount. Toyota says they're not going to raise prices. And Nissan is beeping up SUV production in Tennessee. That came just hours after GM shifted their truck manufacturing back to Indiana. Barack said he didn't have a magic wand to bring jobs back. Well, Trump just waved his wand around, and 228,000 jobs appeared in March.
Let's go.
We blew it out of the water. Even all the economists that looked at this thought we were going to have a depressed jobs report, and we didn't. So that's a testament to the president.
Oh, did you hear that, guys? All the economists, you mean all the experts that think they know everything, said that we were going to have a damaging jobs report. They projected that if we could even get close to 140,000 jobs, that we would be great. Well, guess what? We did 241,000 jobs and showed that the economists don't know what the crap they're talking about, guys. This is what winning looks like when you have real business people that know how to run a business.
The economic output that he is doing. Look at the Rose Garden that we had the other day. Who was in the audience? It was all the American workers. We had our Teamsters there. We had our United Auto Workers there. We're seeing those investments pay off, and I would expect that to continue.
Biden was hemorrhaging manufacturing jobs on his way out. Trump hit the brakes, then hit the gas. Look at those jobs coming back. It's not just manufacturing. The ranchers, farmers, and fishermen love it.
Let's go.
Our egg sector gets decimated by other countries tariffing our beef imports, our shrimp, our catfish. They tariff us at up to 50% of our exported ag products and then dump mass-produced ag products into our market, severely harming our farmers and our ranchers.
Listen to this guy. Ready? It's really common sense.
This lighter costs $25 in America to buy an American-made product, okay? China makes one, sells it for $20 here in America. Out of that $20, $5 goes to whoever in America sells it. $15 of it goes back to China. You buy the $25 one, in America, all $25 stays in America.
Let's go.
So now we want to say, let's balance this out, and we're going to put a 50% tariff on Chinese goods. Now this lighter costs $30 to sell in the United States. Now you have the U.S.-made one at $25. It is cheaper. It's more expensive in the big picture, I get it. But it's now cheaper.
Let's go.
Sit back and relax.
I don't think it's fair to say economies are crashing. Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States. We can't continue to be a country that doesn't make things. We have to be able to make things to provide jobs for Americans. That's it. It's that simple.
Trump's trade war is high risk, high reward. But he's not biting his fingernails staring at the Dow. Today, he actually played golf, which if Biden had done, I definitely wouldn't have criticized him for it. It's funny, you know who used to agree with Trump on tariffs? Biden's old boss.
We had a tire case in which they were flooding us with cheap domestic tires.
Cheap tires.
Or cheap Chinese tires. And we put a stop to it. And as a consequence, saved jobs throughout America. I have to say that Governor Romney criticized me for being too tough in that tire case. Said this wouldn't be good for American workers and that it would be protectionist. But I tell you, those workers don't feel that way. They feel as if they had finally an administration who was going to take this issue seriously.
You go, Obama.
Warren Buffett, 20 years
You sound exactly like Trump. You sound exactly like Elon.
ago said bad trade policy was selling the nation out. And nothing's changed until this week. Tariffs are just one piece of the puzzle. Cheaper energy, lower tariffs, and tighter borders, that's going to make everyone's salaries go up. Lower taxes, regulation, and spending, that'll ignite an economic boom. We've been talking about doing this for 50 years. People say, well, why now? Because it's never the wrong time to do the right thing.
Let's go, guys. And it just broke literally minutes ago, guys. I've got to show you this. Breaking: President Trump's approval rating increase after tariffs were enacted by JL Partners. So you know what? Don't believe all the lies that you're hearing from the left-wing media, because real people know that Trump is putting America first. This right here, guys, shows you that they can say all they want. They can say that people are afraid. They can say that people are fearful. But the truth of the matter is, when we actually talk to the populace, the real people, they approve of Trump increasing the tariffs, bringing jobs back to America, not letting us get screwed over by everybody, and actually allowing the United States of America to be the superpower that it truly is. We keep getting screwed over by all the tariffs by everybody else. They don't put our products in their market, yet they tariff us 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%. And nobody's ever done anything about it till this man. Make tariffs great again, baby. I love it because, guys, like I said, this just broke this morning. From the leading report, JL Partners, approval rate increased. Thank you so much, Lay Lewis, for the super chat. Let's go. Said thank you for your diligence and keeping us up to date with the news. Let's go. And thank you so much. Hey, t-shirts are coming, guys. We're like 3 weeks out, so they'll be here soon. Y'all show Lay Lewis some love in the chat, as well as Mr. Tracy J. Norby for the super chat. He said it's past time to clean up these Democratic policies that we, the people, never voted for. After all this comes out, the corruption on the Democratic side like it's been, they won't be in power very long. The party's done. They've screwed the country over. Let's go. Y'all show Mr. Norby, OG brother, some love in the chat, as well as Gene H., who said, great job on your channel and the charity. Love your channel. Guys, this is what winning looks like. Because let me tell you this. All these countries, they have FAFO. They know, and we know, even China knows. Trump posted this, said China has been hit much harder than the USA. Not even close. They and many other nations have treated us unsustainably badly. We've been the dumb and helpless whipping post, but not any longer. No more. We're not getting screwed over anymore. We are going to stand up. We are bringing back jobs and businesses like never before. Already more than $5 trillion of investment and rising fast. This is an economic revolution and we will win. Hang tough. It won't be easy, but the end result will be historic. We will make America great again. Guys, this is what Trump's about. He knows what business is. He knows how to do things in a way to get the outcome that you want. Check this out.
Evolutionary generation came back here. It's not just the structure and the results. They good God in heaven. What have you done to allow these people to have control of this, our beloved republic that we put everything on the line for?
Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor, hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, how does it make you think? Was Trenton worth it? Was Valley Forge worth it? Was Morristown worth it? Was Saratoga worth it? Was Bunker Hill worth it? Was all of it worth it? Was that worth it? Is that what you were doing for this? And forget the freak show and the culture. I'm just talking about the power and the money. They have outright contempt and hatred for this country, its sovereignty, this republic, and its citizens. And they're going to sit up here now and whine all day long. This is so terrible. People are going to have to pay more for the dress we can get in Macy's. People are going to they're going to pay more for this. They don't give a damn about that. They've never given a damn about that. Were they talking about that when Biden juiced us, as we said on this show, at the moment they did it in 21, and they did that whole nother cash infusion? We said it's going to skyrocket inflation, ourselves and Larry Summer and nobody else, and particularly not the traitors Republicans that signed up for it to get it passed.
I told
and now
you.
Those same Republicans, the same people that signed on to that blood oath, with Biden in that crowd for this spending that crushed everything and sent inflation up. Did you see the Republicans talking about it? No, but all they're running to the mic now. My Lord, this is terrible. We must stop it. Trump must be stopped. He must be stopped. He's not going to be stopped. He's not going to be stopped. And the White House staff, you guys have done a great job. You got to I need 100 economists. I need 100 businessmen. I need 100 entrepreneurs. I need 100 union people. I need 100 folks from Main Street, and I need them in microphones. I need them on shows starting Monday. My producer should be coming to me every second and said, these people are so obnoxious. They want everything. They want every second of the show. It's crickets. Trump's got a job. He's president of these United States, the commander-in-chief of our armed forces, and the chief magistrate and chief law enforcement officer of our nation. He's fully engaged.
Yes.
I got a secretary of Treasury. He's great. I got a secretary of Commerce. He's getting better. I got Navarro. They got jobs, too. I don't need them on TV constantly. You give, Besson come out and do something with Caitlin Collins, fine. I don't even he's not a TV host. Where are the economists? Where are the businessmen? Where are the entrepreneurs? And God in heaven, where are the working class? Hell, guys were coming up in the Rose Garden and high-fiving Trump and taking the microphones. President Trump, I'm from Macomb County. The home of Reagan Democrats, and I love this. Where's that gang? They're called surrogates. Folks, if you think the biggest change in the global economy since World War II against people that control that and have made so much money, let me just repeat. I think it's since October 1st, the beginning of the fiscal year. $4.4 trillion of wealth has accreted to the top 1 or 2% or 0.0%. Let's say this, the top guys, greater than the bottom 50%. Note to self, Trump's whole purpose is to change that.
Yes.
It's not to take, he's not the French Revolution. He's not a Bolshevik. It's Donald Trump. You don't have a bigger capitalist, a bigger entrepreneur. It's Trump. All he's trying to say is, hey, I'm tired of these elites ripping off American people, and the American people want a piece of the action. They deserve a piece of the action, and they're going to get a piece of the action. So why don't we help him out? You're not going to help him out? Let's go rip some faces off.
Oh, sorry, guys. Let me see if these still got...
You got to back off. You got to back off. This is terrible because they all grabbed, all these donors, they're all pearl clutchers.
Yep. Sorry, I can't do the music, guys, but let me tell you this. This is how polarizing the things are getting. I just showed you guys that right now they are trying to do a full-on scale anti-protest across the entire United States right now. Hands off. We must stop Trump and Musk illegal billionaire power grabs. Are you kidding me? The same people that are exposing everything that has been going on in Congress, and what we just found out is that this mass mobilization is, guess what? It's paid for. Paid protesters. These people literally are getting paid to go stand out there, hold signs for an hour or two, and then guess what happens? They hit the road. They're trying to say hands off fair elections, our bodies, cancer research, NATO, consumer protections, clean air, clean energy, schools, libraries. You want to see something, guys? You want to know how bad it's getting for these people, that what we're seeing is not really, I believe, the people that are on the left, but these paid protesters. Guess what just got passed in Colorado today? Colorado House Democrats pass a bill labeling misgendering as a discriminatory act. If you're a parent and you misgender your child, you risk losing that child. If this is not a bunch of you know what, I don't know what is. Because I'm telling you guys, they're trying to break apart the family. They're trying to break apart the parents from their actually being parents over their own kids. And do you think right here that this in any way is common sense? These Democrats are doubling down and they're just going to continue to lose. This is not what America wants. A bill that you could, if your kid gets, and I say this with all confidence, brainwashed to think that they are not who they are, and then you call them something that they aren't. I mean, you call them something that they are, and they think that it's discriminatory. They could be taken away from you, guys. Like, how destructive is that to the American family? Want to say thank you so much, Lukika YN1 for the super chat. Said Trump's MAGA dream coming true, bringing back America first and made in America. Let's go. And Shelly Bergman, who said the dream team rocks. Let's go. Y'all show Shelly and I gotta make sure Lukika some love in the chat. Guys, they just don't get it and they don't see it. I want you to see this one clip because remember, this guy's a billionaire too. Listen to what he says when they talk about Kamala Harris. Because when it comes to the Democratic Party, they don't care about we the people. They care about control, and they will put whoever is who wants to be a puppet in there, and they'll control them. Listen to this.
Tell us and remind us why you were so supportive of Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, considering how chaotic things looked, and we ultimately learned that side of the aisle was.
Because she wasn't Donald Trump.
Simple as plain? Just that simple?
This guy, who's a billionaire, owns big businesses, 100% Democrat, just told you right there. The only reason that we voted for Kamala is because she wasn't Donald Trump, which means they could have put anybody in there. Doesn't matter. And that right there shows you that they don't have people that actually run their parties. They have puppets that they can put in there, control, and do whatever they want to because that's how their party works now. It's not a party for we the people. Why do you think that nothing's been done for we the people by the Democrats in over 50 years? And I'm telling you guys, it's getting even deeper. Check this out.
Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz, as always, sir, welcome. We have a lot to talk about, but let me start. Activist judges who think they are president, driving everybody crazy, driving me stark raving mad, driving Newt Gingrich stark raving mad, and they're still at it, Senator Cruz, and something's got to be done. What you thinking here? What you going to do about it?
Well, it is an absolute abuse of power, and this is the second phase of lawfare. We saw during the last 4 years Democrat prosecutors going after and indicting Donald Trump not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 separate times, trying to use law enforcement to prevent the American people from re-electing President Trump. That obviously didn't succeed. Now what we're seeing is every day President Trump and the Trump administration are being sued by Democrat state attorneys general, by left-wing activist groups, and they're going out and forum shopping. They're seeking the most radical left-wing judges who are issuing nationwide injunctions that are an absolute abuse of power. Any injunction should cover the parties to a case and not people who are not parties to the case. And I will tell you, the volume of it is truly unprecedented. So in the first 2 months of the Trump administration, we have seen 37 nationwide injunctions issued against the Trump administration. That is more than the entirety, both terms of George W. Bush, both terms of Barack Obama, and Joe Biden's 4 years. All of those added together, the first 2 months of Trump have more nationwide injunctions. This is left-wing activists wearing robes trying to seize policy making from the elected president of the United States. It's wholly illegitimate.
So it is lawfare. It is weaponization. It is the Democrats' kind of last stand. I mean, between activist judges and throwing Molotov cocktails at Elon Musk Teslas, that's the Democratic Party, and that sure ain't much. The question I have, Senator, because I agree with you wholeheartedly, what can you do about it? There's a bill in the House. Is there a companion bill? I think Mr. Grassley and Mr. Hawley.
Yes. Guys, and the bill that they're talking about is the one where it's called No Rogue Judges. Bill that was supposed to be voted on this week, but dang, Mike Johnson sent everybody home. So we're looking for this next week for them to actually vote on it to stop all these activist judges, guys. Because I'm telling you, 37 injunctions in the first 2 months of Trump's presidency. This is nuts. If you appreciate this truth, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
Is there an update on any of this?
So Chuck Grassley has a bill to limit the jurisdiction to make clear that one single district judge doesn't have the authority to issue nationwide injunctions. I'm a co-sponsor of that bill. I strongly support it. Here's the problem. To pass it in the Senate takes 60 votes. That would mean we would need at least 7 Democrats. No Democrat is going to go along with it. The other remedy that is in the Constitution is impeachment. We're seeing the House discussing the possibility of impeachment.
Let's go.
To impeach a judge, which is to bring charges against a judge, takes a majority in the House. So conceivably...
Guys, let me sorry, guys.
If 218 House members voted to impeach, they could impeach one of these activist judges. But the problem, of course, is after impeachment, it goes to the Senate for the trial, and it takes 2/3 of the Senate under the Constitution to convict, and not a single Democrat would vote to convict, which means the real remedy here is the appellate process, the courts of appeals, and the Supreme Court reining in this lawfare and this abuse of power. That's what I very, very much hope that we see.
I just wondered, Senator, you were talking about, you need stop a filibuster and this. Hadn't Cory Booker stopped? I mean, has he finally stopped? Well, last I heard, he has stopped. That was a joke. Maybe I shouldn't have said it, but I don't know. I never understood.
He has, and I got to say, Cory Booker broke my record. He went 25 hours. He broke my record of 21 hours. I was kind of grumpy about that. I tweeted moments before he broke my record. I said I'm contemplating going and pulling the fire alarm with a hat tip to Jamal Bowman, but I didn't actually do that.
All right. I didn't mean to open up a sore wound. I got it. Let's talk to some money issues. I forget which TV host told you several months ago it was going to be one big, beautiful bill, but that host seems to have had the inside line on that. Now, Senator.
And Larry, has that one big, beautiful bill passed yet?
Well, you all better get through the resolution this week. Otherwise, all hell's going to break loose.
The Senate will, and we'll get it done. I think the challenge with one big, beautiful bill is it's going to prove really hard to get 218 in the House. I believe we will get there eventually, but I think 2 bills would have been more effective. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We got to deliver results. We got to secure the border. We got to rebuild the military. We got to unleash energy, and we have to extend the tax cuts and get the economy roaring back.
Now, on the tax cuts, I don't know if you heard any of the show. Because of Mr. Trump's reciprocity policy that he announced yesterday, the White House is saying there could be $600 billion revenues from the tariffs. I am proposing that those revenues be put into the budget resolution and the reconciliation bill, and that you cut taxes even more to help the middle class who have been shouldering the burden of falling real wages for about 25 years because of unfair and unjust trading practices. If you have $600 billion, Senator, if those are the estimates, I mean, out 10 years is a gigantic number. We need a fresh round. You need tax cuts, middle class tax cuts, corporate tax cuts. I mean, I'm calling it a tariff dividend for taxpayers. What do you think? I want you to carry this ball for me.
So Larry, you know I'm always in favor of more tax cuts and bigger tax cuts. And I'm fighting to make this tax cut as big and bold as possible. Look, I think it is a mistake to assume that we will have high tariffs in perpetuity. I don't think that would be good economic policy. I am not a fan of tariffs. And the announcement yesterday, look, time is going to tell in the next month or two or three what happens. If the result of yesterday's announcement is a lot of our trading partners across the globe dramatically reduce the tariffs they charge on U.S. goods and services, and the consequence of that is the U.S. government dramatically cuts the tariffs that were announced yesterday, that would be a great outcome. That would be good for America.
And it's already happening.
Is our trading partners jack up their tariffs and we have high tariffs everywhere? I think that is a bad outcome for America. Tariffs are a tax on consumers, and I'm not a fan of jacking up taxes on American consumers. So my hope is these tariffs are short-lived and they serve as leverage to lower tariffs across the globe.
So you don't want to put any more money, you want to hand any money over to the consumers. The workforce has been hurt by these unfair trading practices.
Cut taxes, cut taxes, cut taxes. I agree with you. I don't know that you could get too aggressive for me in cutting taxes. I just don't want to simultaneously embrace raising taxes on consumers. Right. And so I like half of your idea, but not necessarily the other half.
All right, half ain't bad. Senator Ted Cruz, thank you ever so much, sir. We appreciate it.
Let me tell you this, guys. The more and more we dig into this, oh my goodness, guys, I love the mic drops that are happening from our representatives. David Sterling, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you so much, as well as Brian McGavick. Y'all show them some love in the chat. Representative Mike Collins says, it's ridiculous that a Democratic president can import violent gang members, but a Republican president can't deport them. We had known terrorists that were coming over the dang border. The Democrats said nothing about it. Not a one of them said anything about it. We tried to send them back out and they're all going crazy. Like, the common sense is, again, there's some screws loose in the Democratic mindset that they do not put America first. They do not have America first policies. They have globalism in mind. They try to say that they're always for the American person, and we're just going to tax the billionaires. Let's tax the wealthy. Let's make them pay their fair share. Well, you know what? Let me show you some dang actual facts, guys, because this is the part that nobody sees, nobody hears, unless you see for somebody like on this channel. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on the Tucker Carlson show said the top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. So guess what? That means that they're the ones that just took this minor hit. The next 40% owns 12% of the stock market. The bottom 50% has debt. Guys, when you hear the facts, then when you look at the left-wing media, all you see is lies. All you see is gaslighting. All you see is fear-mongering. Listen to this.
Distribution of equities across households. The top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% owns 12% of the stock market. The bottom 50 has debt. They have credit card bills, they rent their homes, they have auto loans, and we've got to give them some relief. That I was struck by the statistic from last year.
That's the message right there. Just as a bystander, I'm like, wow, okay.
All right, or that I like the examples, and I was really struck by two different statistics last year. Summer of 2024, Americans took more European vacations than they had in history. Summer of 2024, more Americans were using food banks than they ever have in history. I went into two food banks near my hometown to ask, what's the story? And they said, you know, it really takes, for a lot of people, it's a loss of dignity to walk in a food bank. Of course. But they were seeing something, a new phenomenon, that it wasn't their traditional clientele. It wasn't people who'd lost their homes. It wasn't people out on the street. These were working families who could no longer, $100 at the grocery store, that basket of groceries every week, they were missing 5, 6, 7 things, and they were coming to the food bank to top up.
Wow.
So that's not a great America. Record European vacation, record food banks.
Do y'all see that, guys? Like, this is like him just doing that and being able to bring that out, talking about the food banks, talking about what's actually happening. Like, this is why Trump said this. President Trump is at the peak of just not giving a anymore. Bad news stories doesn't give a. He's going to do what he's going to do. Why? Because he knows we have to do this in order to get America back on track. We've been screwed over by all these Democrats, by all these elitist politicians trying to say that, oh, they're for America. We're going to take care of the middle class. We're going to grow the economy from the bottom up and the middle out and all this stuff. And guess what? It never happened. People just kept losing. Inflation kept going up. And it's only till somebody who wasn't a part of the establishment stepped in to make a difference that we're finally seeing change. Don't hear about eggs anymore, do you? Prices have gone down exponentially, over 60%. Trump knows what he's doing. Check this out.
The tariffs will be far more generous than those countries were to us, meaning they will be kinder than those countries were to the United States of America over the decades. They ripped us off like no country's ever been ripped off in history. And we're going to be much nicer than they were to us, but it's substantial money for the country, nevertheless.
Let's dig a little deeper into this. Congressman Byron Donalds joining me right now. Sir, it's always wonderful to have you. You attended the President's Liberation Day announcement. I expected the turmoil in the markets that we're seeing as we reverse a trade regimen that always had put America at a disadvantage. Doesn't the world economic response indicate really how important and indispensable the United States is?
100% it does. Every country in the world wants access to the American market. That's because we've had the dominant economy in the world, really the last 100 years, if not longer than that. They all want to sell their product here. And when all these countries were developing themselves, whether it was Europe after World War II, or whether it was Asia, leaving developing nation, emerging nation status to actually having stable economies, they all did it on the back of the American economy. The byproduct of that has been a lot of jobs have gone overseas, manufacturing has gone overseas, and now those countries are a lot stronger. We're still the most dominant economy. That hasn't changed, but the gap's a lot closer. So we now need to leave that era where there were real trade imbalances that were to the detriment of American workers here in the United States to a much more fairer trading system, which is how you can have free trade going into the future.
I want to talk to you about these rogue judges. These judges have acted, in my view, unconstitutionally, unlawfully, and unethically. The Congress, under the Constitution, can check these rogue judges. When will the United States Congress act to rein in these judges who have clearly interfered with the last election by stripping President Trump of his constitutional Article II powers?
Look, what I think we need to do is actually remake the federal district court system. It's really become a mess. And you have situations where every outside group wants to go forum shop. In terms of your question, when is Congress going to do that? That's really a question for House leadership. You have many members on Capitol Hill, myself included, who want to see real changes to what happens with the federal district judge system.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, the court system, the whole federal system, is supposed to judge the constitutionality, not the execution of whether it's something that the president does or an agency does when it's already under law. That's the problem we're having. And you're going to need both chambers to do it. And let me also add, if you make these changes, you need 60 votes in the Senate. You have to get Democrat senators in the current iteration of the Senate to go along with those changes. But we have to have a federal district judge system that only focuses on constitutionality, not trying to pick and choose how the executive actually executes their powers under the law.
Sure, and if you want to defund these courts, you can always do that through reconciliation. Then you don't need the obstructionist Democrats to do that. Look, I wanted to pick up on something you just mentioned, leadership. Speaking of House leadership, major endorsement to you from Speaker Mike Johnson for your gubernatorial run. You also got a standing ovation from the state legislature when you were there in Tallahassee. How goes the campaign?
Campaign's going great. You know, we announced the other day we raised $12 million in the first month. Obviously, we have the support of President Trump to be the next governor of Florida. We keep adding more and more endorsements and people to our campaign every single day. The outreach from people throughout the state has been phenomenal. So we're just building. We're going to get stronger. And we're really excited about the future prospects of becoming the next governor of Florida.
And I've heard something about something called the Cape Canaveral Act. My understanding is it's bipartisan. What can you tell me?
So, well, everybody in our state wants to do, we want the new NASA headquarters to be built in Cape Canaveral. It just makes sense. It's where so many rocket launches are happening now in our country, still out of Cape Canaveral. It's bipartisan legislation. Senator Scott, Senator Moody in the Senate sponsor it. In the House, it's myself, Mario Diaz-Balart, Jared Moskowitz, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We co-led it in the House. You have the entire Florida delegation is in agreement that the home for NASA going forward should not be Washington, D.C. It should be Cape Canaveral, Florida, and actually will put the agency in close connection with SpaceX, with Blue Origin, with L3, and so many other space and aerospace firms. It would be a boon to Florida, but it would be much more efficient to have NASA here in the state of Florida working with these organizations to make sure that the American space program continues to thrive into the future.
Guys, oh my goodness, guys. Like, I love what I'm about to show you because you know what? It goes along perfect with Mr. Tracy J. Norby's super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love because let me tell you this. I love it. He said, let's all sing that song, guys. Na, 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. The Democrats and lefties have lost their ever-loving minds since we voted Trump in office. Let them just blow fish down all over themselves. We want it, and it's a president with we see the people. We the people. Let's go. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love. Guys, look what is happening right now. Nationwide protests organized by Soros-funded Indivisible are beginning this morning in 1,300 locations in all 50 states. How much are these paid protests costing the NGO? Your tax dollars, guys. This is what guys, when I see this, they are losing it. They can't stand it. I knew something. We knew this was going to happen, but they're getting so desperate. They're paying all these people to go out there and do these paid protests. Why? Because they're losing. And they are only losing because everybody is seeing the common sense. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, let's go. I love it. That was a perfect super chat, Mr. Norby. I love it. Because let me tell you this, guys. I'm about to show you the front runner for the new Democratic Party that's coming out that I'm telling you guys, this guy's probably going to run and win a lot of votes. But this is why. The common sense is just so real. Check this out.
The Democratic Party and what it was customarily associated with, normally associated with, how it was supposed to be the party of the working class, you were throwing your own aside. You did it to elected officials that got themselves in a speck of trouble. You threw them to the wolves. You had Supreme Court justices refusing to answer questions as to whether or not they were a woman or define what a woman was, even though they were married with children.
Common sense.
It's a whole bunch of ridiculous nonsense that was going around and going on with the Democratic Party. We're not blind to what's transpiring right now. We're not blind to the specter hovering over all of us and how dangerous times can be, how hardship seems imminent as it pertains to tariffs and beyond. We get what tariffs may cause, the problems that it may cause. Inflation, potential recession, we get all of that. But we also get that Donald Trump told us exactly what the hell he was going to do. And that not only did the vast majority of the American people still saw him closer to normalcy than we saw the Democratic Party, but because of that, regardless of his ways, Donald Trump is actually trusted more than y'all.
Boom!
He didn't hint towards misogyny for black men that could possibly vote against Kamala Harris. He didn't do that.
Barack Obama did.
He wasn't somebody that was scared to do interviews half the time and was at the mercy of people connected to her campaign instead of recognizing she was the Democratic nominee and she was supposed to be running the show and she was supposed to be the boss. You told us so? Yeah, you did. What you didn't do was tell us enough about you and what you would ultimately stand for. That's why he's the president. That's why the GOP is in control of the House and the Senate. And the Democrats are on the outside looking in.
Ooh.
Just thought I'd remind y'all of that before y'all went out there chirping about some of the things that are going on.
Guys, this person voted for Kamala Harris. Now, he's come out and said, hey, I regret doing that because now that everybody has dropped the bombs, guys, on Biden, on Kamala Harris, how it was all organized, how everybody knew that they were, it was all a coup. Everybody knew Biden was in decline. Everybody knew that we didn't have a president, and Kamala Harris, they never expected her to win. It was all just whatever. This is common sense winning in America, because what I'm about to show you next, again, the media, left-wing media, is going to try to spout fear. We're going to show you the truth and the facts. Check this out.
People that absolutely wrecked our economy for the last 4 years are miraculously and suddenly the experts on how to fix it under Trump. Yeah, okay. And much like our health institutions that were wrong about basically everything during COVID, these self-proclaimed experts and these great economic minds, as they claim to be, with these academic degrees, they're spelling like doom and gloom for everything, predicting basically an economic apocalypse.
Markets sharply dropping overnight, futures plummeting. The fallout on your family's wallet. Democrats accuse the president of promising to lower the high cost of living, but now, quote, crashing the economy.
His policies so far in this country have caused chaos, and now they're making disaster actually more probable. And what he has done is created an environment where our economy is going to be shaken. And a lot of the people, as we've said already, who are predicting what's going to happen if he stays this course could be disastrous.
Okay, let me actually tell you what's going on right now, because most of you are smart enough to not buy him. Why would these people not be concerned for the last 4 years, but they're so concerned now? Okay, so Joe Biden, or whoever was running the auto pen, with the help of Congress, by the way, some Republicans, they pumped $7 trillion into the economy by just creating dollars and money out of thin air. This caused inflation. The dollar you had in your bank account in 2020 is now only worth 77 cents, thanks to those same experts you just heard from. But there were more of these dollars, so the reports, as long as they kept flowing in, just kept saying unemployment was low and things were looking bright and they're on the up and up. They weren't, okay? It was all a smokescreen. As Trump came into office, he stopped a lot of those federal dollars being created out of thin air that were propping up the economy. They've started to dry up, too, through the programs. And the reality of Biden's economic policies from grossly unqualified people is rearing its ugly head now. It's probably by design, but we're here. So taming this while also bringing the entire global economy to heel on unfair trade practices, the fact that the markets only opened up 3% down today and closed like 1,600 down on the Dow, it's kind of a testament to the faith that most actual businesses have in the Trump economy. But here's what's happening. So don't freak out about your 401k because it's about to roar. Just sit tight. Trump and everyone around him actually knows how the economy works, unlike Democrats. Ooh. And since Jerome Powell is being a stick in the mud, he won't drop interest rates. Trump's going to force him to. And if you don't need your money that's in the stock market tomorrow, you are in fantastic shape. Here's why. There are only two levers the government has to manipulate our currency: fiscal and monetary policy. And each one only goes up or down. Okay, the government, if they want you to spend money, they will obviously print more. If they want you to save money, they will raise interest rates. If they want you to spend money, they will print more money, which causes inflation. Okay, they control everything we do. It's really very frustrating since the Federal Reserve was created. But Trump needs to have people move money into bonds. That's the saving phase. Right now, $6 trillion of America's debt is set to be refinanced in 6 months at much higher interest rates than they previously were. If interest rates don't come down, America is on the hook for billions more dollars every month if he can't lower the rates. So to force Jerome Powell to lower the interest rates, because again, he's kind of not playing ball here, Donald Trump needs a huge shift of money from the stock market into the bond market. Bonds are how the government raises money for itself, and like the promise that they're going to pay it back later with interest. Now, if enough people move money into bonds, the burden for the government to pay back those bonds with higher interest rates become increasingly higher. So the Fed, Jerome Powell, will be forced to lower interest rates, which means it's now cheaper for everyone to borrow money. And when people borrow money, they create capital and the economy expands, which is super important right now because Trump is looking at a very specific problem that nobody in the legacy media is honestly probably smart enough to cover because it doesn't fit their narrative. And they prefer rather to just call Trump bad names instead. Because over 6 million Americans, 6 million borrowers are late on their mortgage payments right now. Mortgages are the backbone of our financial system, not the stock market or tariffs or healthcare, because if you don't have a place to live, it turns out people don't care as much about their 401k. And here's the dangerous part. Banks can generally loan out huge swaths of money so long as they have about 10% of that money in capital that they loan out. It's kind of like the magic number. However, last month, here, FHA loan delinquencies rose to over 11%. That's a danger area. And the fact that these FHA loans are deeply concerning because those loans, FHA loans, are used for mortgages with very little money down, like no equity in them. So if they go down in value, like they're negative, people walk away from them. These are the same loans that crashed the economy in 2008 because then only 9% defaulted, not 11%. And we're on the cusp of another bubble bursting that took years to blow up with huge money from overly lenient loans from COVID. Remember, they couldn't evict anybody either, so people just weren't paying. They weren't paying the landlords. The landlords couldn't pay the mortgages. And it was this.
Guys, I just got there. Again, the news is always breaking, but I'm going to show you this in just a moment. You know what? I'm just going to show you it now, guys. It's too good. It's too good. I'm sorry. Trump is more popular now than before he instituted his new tariff policy. A new poll shows that Trump's approval rating rose to 53%, a 4% increase over last week when it was 49%. Why? Because Americans trust Donald Trump, that we're finally sticking it to everybody in the world who's been sticking it to us, guys. This is about dang time. The American people are spoken. They want Trump's policies. So these Democrats, these judges, they need to get out the dang way and let Trump do his thing, because that's what we, the people, want.
This was all just plopped in Trump's lap in the last 2 months. So Trump is willing to give the stock market a little dip in order to force people into bonds, to force the feds to lower interest rates, so that all these people that had all their payments on their commercial loans and mortgages that ballooned because they were adjustable interest rates, so they can finance at lower rates. Trump is hoping in the next few months with his strategy, they will be able to refinance and lower their payments. Now, most of these people who are currently in trouble took out loans at like 2 or 3% interest rates 3 to 4 years ago. For instance, if you had a $500,000 loan on your home or your business, your loan was $2,000 a month. That was your payment. But when it adjusted last year, the same loan for the same amount on the same property now became 7%, which costs you almost $3,400 a month. This is why Trump is taking the opportunity to not only put these tariffs on, but address a number of things. It's not only a mechanism.
Guys, this is beautiful. Do you see? Like, I'm telling you, I want to bring you the whole story, guys. The whole story matters when we show you of why he's doing it. It's not, he knows when it comes to the interest rates, when it comes to people buying houses, borrowing money, being able to start businesses, all these things are tied into what Trump is doing. He has geniuses around him that say, you know what? We're playing chess. Everybody is playing checkers. Guess what? We're playing chess. We know what we're doing. And even we got to show our boy Scott Jennings dropping the hammer, guys, because everybody's, markets are tanking. Trump's playing golf. Well, guess what? The truth matters.
I do find it interesting in this conversation, though, about Democrats finding their, free market bona fides all of a sudden. I mean, these are the same party that's been arguing that corporations need to pay higher taxes. I mean, effectively, a tariff is just a tax on corporate activity. That's what it is. And Democrats for years have argued for higher corporate tax rates, and now they're arguing against effectively a tax on corporate activity. I think if I were Donald Trump, I might next week say, you know what? I'll meet you on this. Let's slash the corporate tax rate in half, and it'll mitigate your concerns about the tariffs. I bet you wouldn't find one Democrat who would agree to it, even though it would be an amazing idea.
Let's go. Guys, do you see that? Again, I love it too, because when it comes to all of these Democrats that they always say, we're for the poor, we're for the middle class, we want to make sure we take care of them. And then when Trump actually does what they've all said they were going to do, but actually does it in a way that works, then everybody starts freaking out. And what I love it was what I'm about to show you next, guys, because the whole thing of what we're seeing now and why they're freaking out and why there's no leader in the Democratic Party, why Pelosi is gone, Obama is gone, why Chuck Schumer is literally out the door, is because they're now they're now dishing on each other. And everybody's being thrown under the bus because Trump is winning so much. Check this out.
Speaker, what would you do to get accountability for what the Democrats did to the country by hiding Joe Biden and lying to us about it?
Well, look, either there has to be a joint House-Senate committee or there has to be a special commission. I mean, I have to say, in all the years I've studied both as a history teacher and as elected official, the idea that these people knew, and it's pretty clear now, that a lot of them knew that he was gone. And it raises the question, who was the president of the United States during this period? Or who were, because it may have been a group. I mean, it's an astonishing moment. And I think it requires a very in-depth look, day by day, at the decisions that were made. Were they really made by the president? Or were they made by his staff? And second, how many Democrats owe the country a deep apology because they knew?
Yes.
They've been with him, they knew it was impossible, and they lied about it. And I can't remember any event in American history that involves, including Woodrow Wilson's stroke and Edith Wilson, his wife, running the country. Nothing on this scale of constant deception, constant lying, and the fact that they propped him up. And it raises the genuine, legitimate question, who was the president, and do any of the things that they did in his name actually count if he didn't know who he was?
Ooh,
and
that's a great question.
Deep, historic question.
That is a great question, and you might have to have the court decide that. But before you do that, why can't House Republicans subpoena Ron Klain, President Klain probably, and put him under oath and have him tell us what happened behind the scenes?
Look, I think both the House and the Senate should impanel special committees to just focus on this issue. Who was the president? Who lied about the president? Who made the decisions as though they were president? And what is the constitutional implication of having people who are not the president making these kind of decisions? I mean, I think this is a very serious, profound, historic moment, not a political moment. It ought to be a truly bipartisan committee, truly bipartisan effort, because all of us ought to have an interest as Americans in knowing what happened and how could we have been lied to for at least minimum of 2 or 2.5 years. We were being consistently, systematically lied to.
Guys, is that not the truth? I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now, guys. Mark this. In about, I'd say 3 to 4 months, we're going to get such damning evidence against Biden and Kamala Harris that there's going to be a revolt, that people are going to say the Biden administration was void. It was invalid. Things that he did, all of his actions, his executive orders, everything out the door, because of what we're finding out right now. And it's only going to get worse. We're barely scratching the surface. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching, to all of our subscribers. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. And I want to say, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support, guys. We've had an amazing show today. Want to give some love to our members of the channel. Guys, y'all are the best. Remember, we're here to serve you. And when you partner with us, we take your memberships, your super chats, we donate it to charity, guys. And we're making such a big difference helping out these local charities. Because again, too, guys, we're not just going to be a news channel. We're going to be a channel that gives back. And I want to give some love to those that have given today, guys. I want to give some love to Lay Lewis, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Let's go. Gene H. Deborah Holstay. Lukika YN1. Shelly Bergman. Virginia Garrett. David Sterling. Brian McGavick. Guido Cantos. B1 Sly One. And then again, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Guys, show them some love in the chat. What an amazing week, guys. Liberation Day. Trump's making things happen. We're here for it to bring you the truth. The whole truth, guys. And again, Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, unless something happens, guys, emergency or something like that. But 99% of the time, Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Remember, we're here for it. We're living in history, guys. We will look back on these days and this community, and as it keeps growing, of whenever we were experiencing America winning and being put first. Love you all. Appreciate you so much. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.